In 1976, Kodak's own engineers invented the digital camera. They buried it. Not because they were stupid, not because they didn't understand what they had built. They buried it because they understood it perfectly. And that understanding terrified them. Picture Rochester, New York, 1980. Kodak employs over 60,000 people in a single city. Its film products control nearly 90% of the American market. Its profits are so consistent, so enormous, that Wall Street considers it one of the safest investments in the world. Inside Kodak's headquarters, confidence is not arrogance. It is earned. Decades of dominance, generations of engineering excellence, a brand so trusted that the word Kodak has become synonymous with memory itself. This is what peak success looks like from the inside. Everything works. Every quarter confirms the strategy. Every competitor falls short. Every new product built on the same foundation generates another wave of profit. And here is where the danger begins. Not in the boardroom, not in the balance sheet, in the mind. Psychologists call it cognitive ease, the brain's tendency to prefer information that feels familiar, comfortable, and consistent with what it already believes. When a belief has been rewarded for decades, when every decision built on that belief has produced success, the brain does not question it. It defends it, automatically, invisibly, without the person ever realizing it is happening. At Kodak, the belief was simple. Photography is film. Film is Kodak. Kodak is photography. Every year that belief generated billions of dollars, it became harder to challenge. Not because challenging it was forbidden, but because the people inside the organization had been selected, promoted, and rewarded precisely for executing that belief brilliantly. The engineers who built digital technology in 1976 did not hide their invention out of fear of punishment. They hid it because their own financial models showed it would destroy the very business that made Kodak great. They were right, and that correct analysis became the most expensive mistake in corporate history. Kodak was not an exception. In 2003, BlackBerry controlled over 40% of the smartphone market. Its keyboards were legendary. Its security was unmatched. Its executives genuinely believed touchscreen phones were a passing novelty. They were not dismissing the threat carelessly. They were applying the same rigorous thinking that had made them dominant. Their customers, corporate buyers, government agencies, financial institutions, had told them keyboards mattered. Their own experience confirmed it. Their success had built a perfect filter, and that filter blocked the signal that was about to end them. Nokia, Blockbuster, Yahoo, Sears, different industries, different decades, different technologies, the same invisible mechanism operating in every single case. At Blockbuster in 2000, an executive sat across from Reed Hastings, who offered to sell Netflix for $50 million. The meeting ended in laughter. Not cruelty, not stupidity. The Blockbuster executive had spent 20 years watching companies try and fail to challenge physical video retail. His experience, his hard-won, legitimately earned experience, told him this was another one. His experience was the most dangerous thing in that room. Here is the mechanism most people miss. In a successful organization, information does not travel freely. It travels through layers of people whose careers were built on the existing model. A junior analyst who sees a threat has to convince a manager whose bonus depends on the current strategy. That manager has to convince a director whose entire professional identity is built on the system that created the company's success. That director has to convince an executive who has spent decades proving that the existing approach works. At every layer, the warning is not suppressed through conspiracy. It is filtered through entirely rational human self-interest. The people at the top of Kodak, Nokia, and Blockbuster were not failures. They were the best possible products of systems that had rewarded a specific set of beliefs for a very long time. And that is precisely what made them so dangerous to themselves. Every person in this story was intelligent. Every organization was, at some point, genuinely excellent. The destruction did not come from incompetence. It came from the natural human tendency to trust what has always worked, and to quietly, unconsciously discount everything that threatens it. This is not a story about companies. It is a story about how the mind handles success, and it does not stay in boardrooms. It lives in careers where people avoid learning new skills because the old ones still pay well. It lives in relationships where early patterns go unquestioned because they once worked. It lives in every system, every institution, every individual mind that has been rewarded long enough to stop questioning its own assumptions. The most dangerous belief you can hold is not a wrong one. It is a right one that has stopped being right, and that you can no longer see clearly because it made you everything you are. Drop a comment below. What company, system, or institution should we investigate next? And if this story made you think differently, subscribe. There is more to uncover.